Steve. I get this everywhere I go. No, I'm very proud of Steve. Steve is my younger brother. And back in 2000, when Steve ran for his first time at the state level, I ran the campaign. So I'm very proud of what together we have both been able to accomplish. And I'm also very proud that he's risen to the challenge of running for Congress. I said, at the same time I'm running for state representative. So it's been an interesting time. Steve and I are traveling in the same circles. And that's good, because Steve and I get along well, so it's all good. But anyway, the 31st House District, which is currently held by my brother Steve, is on the west side of Cincinnati. It's Priceville, Westwood, Cheviot, and then down into the Fairmount, South Cumminsville, a little bit of Northside. And then there's a ribbon that goes up along the river, Riverside, Sedansville, Sailor Park, Addison, Cleves, North Bend. So it's a very weirdly drawn district. But anyway, that is the 31st. And that's the district I'm running for. And I want to also thank you for having me here this afternoon, having all of us here this afternoon. It's our pleasure. But what I want to do today is share a story with you. I've been sharing this story. It's a true story. As all of us have been doing, we've been going door to door for quite some time. I've been out since March, knocking on doors in the 31st House District, trying to introduce myself to people and also trying to understand what the issues are out in the district. And so I was out in Westwood, and I was approaching a door, and there was an older gentleman sitting on his porch, and he had a copy of the Navy News sitting beside him. He saw me coming in my purple shirt. He made an assumption, and he was correct. And he said, "I'm warning you." He said, "I'm a conservative Republican." And he said, "Now, if you'd like to come up and talk to me, you're more than welcome." I said, "Well, I would welcome the opportunity to come talk to you." So I did. I went up and I sat next to him on the porch. And he folded his arms and he said, "So tell me tell me a little bit something about yourself, something about your background." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, I went to Seton High School. I graduated from Miami University in political science. I live on the west side. I've lived on the west side all my life. I'm one of 8 children. Steve is one of the 8. I said, I live in Priceville now with my husband and my 2 children. I own Phillips Swim Club and the Front Porch Coffee House, 2 businesses located in the 31st House. I served on the Cincinnati Recreation Commission for 16 years as a volunteer board member, and I was president the last couple years of my tenure there. I had to step down to run for state representative. I serve on the board of the Priceville Civic Club, and I'm also vice president for our merchants group. And I'm very proud of my community work that I've done." And he shook his head, and he smiled, and he said, "Well, talk to me about your issues. What are you concerned about?" I said, "Well, economic development." I said, "I'm a small business owner, and we've worked hard in our own business district to change the perception of how we're doing there. So we get hit over the head a lot of times in Priceville with some negative media attention. And things are okay in Priceville. The business district's fairly strong. We've got a lot of reinvestment going on, and people just aren't aware of it. And so we've tried to change the perception as a business organization. I said at the state level, I want to talk about education, renewable energies. Education is key to the state of Ohio, to our economy, and to our future, and I think we all understand that. I said we need to talk about housing. Every street I walk on has a foreclosed house on it, and the state has stepped up. We've got the Save the Dream campaign to keep people in their homes, and some monies are being made available for communities to purchase properties and either rehab or tear them down, and that's a good thing. And money's coming in from all different levels of government, so that's a great step. And I want to talk about quality of life issues, because I want to talk about recreation, because that's what I love, that's what I know. And it's important. The programming that we did with the Cincinnati Recreation Commission gave kids positive opportunities in their communities. And that's important. It's a crime reducer, and it also gives them an opportunity to be exposed to somebody that's positive, a mentor perhaps, in the community center, one of the lifeguards, for instance. So it's a fantastic program. I'm very proud of the work I did there. And, "Okay," he says. "Okay." He's still folding his arms. He's still looking at me. And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Where did your children go to school?" Now, I don't get asked that very often. And I said, "My kids went to St. Teresa in Priceville." And he said, "What did you do when your kids were at St. Teresa?" I said, "Well," I said, "when my daughter entered St. Teresa, I was the room mother." I said, "And then I worked on the Everybody Counts program, which is a program that teaches children to accept other children with disabilities. And then I was the soccer coach, the volleyball coach. I did all that stuff." I said, "Then I was the vice president of